Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video tonight, I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the Brighton-Manchester United game on Saturday. I've already given you my preview for the game. I gave you my preview earlier on today. So, Solskjaer will make quite a lot of changes from our 3-0 win against Luton recently in the Carabao Cup third round. So I think that David De Gea is going to start in goal. Like I said to you, I think David De Gea will remain our number one goalkeeper for this season at least. Obviously, David De Gea was rested in the game against Luton. We went with Dean Henderson instead. And that was obviously Dean Henderson's full debut for the football club. But like I've already said, I think Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number one this season because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper because he has got that experience behind him. He recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and Dean Henderson has been at the football club since the age of 14, so has been part of the club for several years. Not so long ago, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year deal with Manchester United worth 120 grand a week. But I think Dean Henderson will be our number one in the foreseeable future. Obviously, this season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. David De Gea has made over 400 appearances for the football club in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. But like I said, I think David De Gea's had 7 good years because in the last few years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. I think we could possibly sell David De Gea next summer. I said if we'd have sold him this summer, we'd have probably got around £60 million for him. We only paid just over £18 million for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But when De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. I think at right back, we will go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka obviously started the game against Luton. He missed our first league game against Crystal Palace. Like I've said, I think Wan-Bissaka has got to improve his attacking intent, because that's what he's lacking at the moment. But I think his defensive contribution's always been very, very good. This season is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. We did get him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. To be honest with you, I think Bay will be alongside Harry Maguire in this game against Brighton. Bay obviously played against Luton in the Carabao Cup. He came in for Victor Lindelof. I would actually play Bay ahead of Victor Lindelof because I think Bay's a better centre half than Victor Lindelof. My only element of concern about Eric Bay is that he is injury prone. Bay's enjoyed around 4 years now with Manchester United. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. But my perception on Victor Lindelof is that, he's had a lot of bad games as a Manchester United player and he has been very inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, he's had a couple of good games as a Manchester United player. But I just don't think he's good enough to represent the football club. He's not on Harry Maguire's level. In our first game against Crystal Palace, Victor Lindelof was accountable for all 3 goals. Obviously, should have dealt with the first one. Obviously, gave the penalty away and was caught out of position for Crystal Palace's 3rd goal. We did pay £30 million for Victor Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017. Harry Maguire, I thought he played well against Luton, to be fair. Got outwitted a few times. But prior to that, I thought he did very, very well. Composure good and also looked very effective in the air. Don't forget, last month, was it, Harry Maguire got arrested in Greece and obviously, he got convicted. We know that Harry Maguire is going to remain Manchester United captain this season, But he's our second most expensive signing at the moment and As it stands at the moment, he is the most expensive centre-half in the world. Now, at left-back, I think we will go with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw was obviously rested for the game against Luton. Obviously, Brandon Williams came in instead. As it stands at the moment, no, Luke Shaw's our first choice left back. But obviously, if we are to get a left back in before this summer transfer window shuts, then I don't think Luke Shaw will be our first choice left back. Like I said to my only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone, because he just recently recovered from an ankle injury. He also had an injury at the first part of last season, did Luke Shaw. But he's enjoyed a good 6 years now at Manchester United. We paid £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014. So that's how I think we'll be in our back line. Now, I think the two holders will be Paul Pogba and Donny van de Beek. Or it could actually be Pogba Matic or maybe Pogba McTominay, but I think it will be Pogba and Donny van de Beek. Now, obviously, Paul Pogba didn't play any part in the Luton game. He did play in the opening game against Crystal Palace, did Pogba. Like I mentioned, he had a few good shots outside the box, but I thought he gave the ball away far too many times. So I want to see a good performance from Paul Pogba in this game against Brighton. I think what we've got to do is we've got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club, to end the uncertainty over his future, because Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Around this time last year, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. Obviously, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid, and he was talking a lot about Real Madrid. There was obviously stories about Paul Pogba possibly going back to Juventus, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, was it a few weeks ago now, he came out and said that Paul Pogba will stay at Man United in the summer and he will hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And don't forget, earlier on this year, we was very critical of Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. Main explanation is because he publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United. So there you go. Donny van de Beek, this will be his full Premier League debut against Brighton on Saturday. I think Donny van de Beek has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. So far, Donny van de Beek's played 3 games for the club. Obviously, he played in the 1-0 defeat to Villa in pre-season. That was actually his debut. Obviously, played in the Crystal Palace game, came on and scored on his Premier League debut. And obviously, played in the Luton game. So he's been a good signing so far. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million. Donny van de Beek did sign a 5-year contract with Manchester United, and there's also an option of a further year. And we know that he fulfills that number 34. In the number 10, it will be Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes didn't start against Luton, but he did come on as a substitute. Obviously, got an assist. There's Bruno Fernandes. There's been a couple of games where, he hasn't looked at his best and he's lacked that composure a bit. But I think prior to that, he's had a lot of good games as a Manchester United player. Bruno Fernandes has won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times. Didn't he also win some Matt Busby Player of the Year award with how good, he's been? We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth £55 million from Sporting Lisbon back in January. I think he scored 13 goals in all competitions since his arrival. But yeah, so I think we'll go with him in the number 10. But there's some United fans that don't think Pogba, Van de Beek and Bruno Fernandes can play in a midfield trio, because obviously they're all attacking midfielders. So possibly maybe McTominay, Fred or Matic, could be involved. But I think, they can anyway. On the left-hand side, I think we will go with Marcus Rashford. Rashford didn't start the Luton game, but he came on as a substitute and obviously, scored a fantastic goal. I think Rashford has really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And I think Rashford is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Rashford's already been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then has become an integral part of our team. We know now that he plays on that left-hand side. I think on the right-hand side, we will go with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood didn't start against Luton, but he did come on as a substitute, got his name on the score sheet and also got an assist, which was very, very good. Mason Greenwood, by the way, also he didn't start the Crystal Palace game, did he? But I think he did come on in the Crystal Palace game, if I'm right. Like I said, we've had a few issues with Mason Greenwood recently. Don't forget he had that incident with inhaling laughing gas. He also got withdrawn from the England squad with Phil Foden for inviting girls back to the team hotel. That's obviously before we kicked off our season. We know that Mason Greenwood is our number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11. And Solskjaer has said what Mason Greenwood needs to improve on if he is to be, our long-term number 9. And Solskjaer said he's got to improve with his head. But Solskjaer was saying that Mason Greenwood did very, very well last season because last season was Mason Greenwood's, I think, first full season in our senior squad. And last but not least, I think we'll go with Anthony Martial up top in this game against Brighton. Anthony Martial was obviously rested in the game against Luton. Obviously, Odi Nagalo played in the game against Luton instead. And I also think that Martial's done very, very well under Solskjaer. Last season he was exceptional, was Anthony Martial. We know now that he plays in that number 9. It's not his predominant position, but he's very, very effective in that central position, is Martial. For the vast majority of his Man United career, he's actually played out wide as Martial. But he's enjoyed around 5 years now at the football club. I think he also had a very, very good season under Louis van Gaal era. We paid £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco. So that is your starting 11 prediction. But also, there could be a few other players involved that will come on as substitutes, maybe. Maybe Matic could be involved. Maybe Lingard could possibly be involved. Maybe even Juan Mata could be involved. I think Juan Mata put a very, very good performance out against Luton recently. Obviously, got his name on the score sheet. Could Daniel James be possibly involved? So there you go. But like I said to you on my preview earlier on today, this is our second game of the Premier League season. And we are looking for our first win in the Premier League. We lost our first Premier League game of the season to Crystal Palace. We lost by 3-1. We lost by 3-1. And that was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And it was the second season in a row in the Premier League at Old Trafford that we had lost to Crystal Palace. But it's good that we bounced back from that defeat against Crystal Palace with a 3-0 win against Luton. Now, we play Brighton twice. We play them on Saturday at 12:30 in the league. And then next week, we play them in the Carabao Cup 4th round. Because Brighton, beat Preston recently by 2-0. So we play them in a matter of days. Brighton have won their last 2 games, like I mentioned. They won their last league game against Newcastle by 3-0. The game at the Amex Stadium last season was 3-0 to Manchester United. and the game at Old Trafford was 3-1 to Manchester United. But we've actually lost at the MX Stadium twice since Brighton came up to the top flight. We lost there 3-2 once, and we also lost there 1-0 once. Like I mentioned, Brighton have got a few injuries. They've obviously got Tariq Lamptey out. To be fair, he's a very, very good right back for Brighton. They've also got Aaron Connolly out. They've got Christian Walton out. They've got Jose Izquierdo out. I think Bissimo is suspended, if I've pronounced his name correctly. And Christian Walton, he's also out with injury for Brighton. So yeah, but Brighton have still got some, good players in their team. They really, really have. They've obviously got Glenn Murray. They've got Maupay, probably one of their best players. They've also got Pascal Gross, who I like. They've got Lewis Dunk, he's a very, very good centre-half for them. Matty Ryan's a pretty good goalkeeper for Brighton. So yeah, they have got some good players in their team. Adam Lallana, they recently got him from Liverpool. Was it on a free? Ben White, he's quite good. He recently signed a new contract with Brighton. Dale Stephens, he's pretty good, but I think he's out with injury as well as Dale Stephens, is he? But I think that Dale Stephens is actually going to Burnley, like I mentioned on my preview. Brighton's current manager is Graham Potter. I think Brighton is the third club in his managerial career, because obviously, before he was at Brighton, he was at Swansea. I think before he was at Swansea, he was at Östersund. So there you go. Now, I want to delve into some more news. Now, I think Manchester United have got to sack the board. So we've got to get rid of Ed Woodward, and we've also got to get rid of the Glazers. Because obviously, they're not spending money at Manchester United. And, Solskjaer's recently revealed that he's been very, very frustrated with, the board. The main explanation is over our lack of transfer business in this summer transfer window. We have only made one signing so far in this summer transfer window, and that was Donny van de Beek. And we've missed out on a lot of our targets in this summer transfer window. We missed out on Sergio Reguilon. He went to Tottenham. We missed out on Gareth Bale. He went back to Tottenham. We also missed out on Jack Grealish because he recently signed a 5-year deal with Aston Villa. We missed out on Erling Haaland in January. And we also missed out on Jude Bellingham. And another one of my element of concerns is that there's teams around us that are doing very, very good recruitment. But I feel as though that Solskjaer is not getting backed enough in this summer transfer window, and I think he does deserve more backing as Manchester United manager, because Solskjaer has publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of City, Liverpool, and now perhaps Chelsea. But we've been very critical of the board anyway for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. I think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired have not been backed enough. And I think the board have brought a lot of deadwood in the last 7 years as well, because a lot of the players we've recruited in since Ferguson left haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. I think there's a couple of players we've let go who we shouldn't have let go, you know. And we've overpaid for players in recent years. You know, Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, so he's been with us around 8 years, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005, so they've been with us around 15 years. All Woodward's done since he's come in is obviously, spend nearly £1 billion on players. He's obviously, sacked 3 managers. That was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, wasn't it? So I think, we've got to get the board out of the football club. And this summer transfer window is Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Obviously, so far at the football club, Solskjaer spent obviously around £240 million, hasn't he? But, there's still key areas where Manchester United have got to strengthen up. And I said to you, it would have been beneficial if we'd have got a director of football. And, we've been in the process of trying to get a director of football since, like, the Jose Mourinho era. Woodward said quite a few times he'd like to get a director of football and someone who can join Solskjaer's structure. But I said if we're to get a director of football in, we need someone who knows the club well, someone who's got that experience and all of that. So, there you go. Now, I want to delve into some news on Alex Telles from Porto. I've been talking with you a lot about him on a regular basis. So, Alex Telles has urged Porto to lower their asking price. Now, Porto do want around, is it just over £18 million for Alex Telles? But I think we're hoping to get him for around £12 million. Now, Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he's come out and said that talks are still ongoing between Manchester United and Porto. And he says that Alex Telles is confident that an agreement can be reached between Man United and Porto, but no fee has yet come to an agreement. Now, obviously, we know that the terms on a 5-year contract has been agreed worth £70,000 a week and all of that. But we've just got to come to an agreement on a fee. Now, Porto's boss did recently make an admission saying that Alex Telles could leave within the next fortnight, and Alex Telles said that he's not distracted by the rumours linking him with a move to Manchester United. Alex Telles has got around a £36 million release clause, and he's got around 10 months left on his current contract with Porto. So, obviously from a Porto perspective, they want to cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free next year. But Telles has already confirmed that he wants to leave Porto. Another one of the main explanations why we're looking at Telles is because we missed out on Sergio Reguilon, but it would be very, very beneficial for Manchester United to get a left-back in because we've got 2 predominant left-backs in the team at the moment. That's obviously Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams, isn't it? A few weeks ago, I think Alex Telles' agent was in Manchester to thrash out a deal for his client to join Man United. So Telles could be our second signing in this summer transfer window. You obviously know the news on Jadon Sancho. I heard that we have to sell 6 of our players to fund a move for the player. Ismail Assar could be crucial in Man United signing Sancho because reportedly now Dortmund want Ismail Assar and he would be a replacement for Sancho. But I think, like David Einstein said, the terms on a long-term contract's being agreed for Sancho, but we obviously haven't come to an agreement on a fee. I believe that, Jadon Sancho is far too expensive because Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. And, we have been looking at a lot of alternatives to Sancho recently, like David Einstein was recently saying. But there's around 2 weeks left until this summer transfer window shuts. And like I say, we can't only focus on the incomings, we've also got to focus on the outgoings. And like I mentioned on my video this morning, departures are proving to be very difficult. We've got to get rid of players. It's very imperative because obviously, we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. And quite frankly, there is still deadwood at the football club. Obviously, there's rumours of Jesse Lingard leaving. Tottenham have recently been in talks to get Lingard. It says Tottenham were preparing to put around the £30 million bidding for him. Mourinho's keen on a reunion with the player. No, we haven't received any offer yet for Lingard, by the way, but I think his representatives are talking with quite a few clubs in England. I think Solskjaer did recently say he wants Lingard to stay at the club. Lingard's been part of the club for several years. Smalling, we're looking to get rid of him. I heard that Roma are preparing to put a new bid in the coming days for Chris Smalling. Roma have already put a £12 million bid in for Smalling, but that obviously got turned down. Smalling was out on loan with Roma last season. Jones and Rojo, we're looking to sell them. We're also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. Sergio Romero, he's also open to leaving the club. Andres Pereira, he's also... Well, I want him to leave, but I don't know if he's going to leave the football club. So Manchester United must sell players. But like I said, this season is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at the football club. And I said, it's a big season for Solskjaer. It really, really is. Because he knows that he's got to exceed his expectations if he is to remain Manchester United manager. And I'm hopeful that Manchester United can win a trophy this season because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. And this is the first time this has happened in just over 30 years. I said to I think Man United need to make at least a couple of more signings if we are to mount a title challenge up. But if we don't, then I don't think we'll mount a title challenge up if we don't make a few more signings. Like I've said to you, we are a good 3 years at least, maybe 4 years off from, winning the title. But we have not won the Premier League since 2013. So last time we won it was in Sir Alex Ferguson's last season. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. You know what I mean? But Solskjaer was saying before this season started that, he was very confident going on into this season, from where we left off last season. Because last season, was Solskjaer's first full season at the club. And to be honest with you, he did exceed most of his expectations. Got us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League. And we also finished third. And that's the second highest we've finished since the Ferguson era. And did pretty well last season, didn't we? But we know there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. I think Solskjaer's decision making's got to improve. There's still certain players that have also got to improve at the club, and there's still aspects of our game that have got to improve. I can give you more of a perception on Solskjaer as we delve more into the season. A lot of United fans maybe, they criticised him after the Palace defeat because he was partly to blame, for that defeat with Solskjaer. But in a lot of games, he's been very tactically naive. But like I said to you, the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, there was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in. And there was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming into the club. But all of a sudden, after that bad start we had at the first part of last season, we turned things around. I give you the reasons why Solskjaer didn't get sacked. But like I said, when Solskjaer first came into the football club, he was inheriting a squad that was worth £700 million. This is obviously before Solskjaer spent the £200 million that he spent now. Because Solskjaer's inheriting a lot of players even from the Mourinho era, still a few players even from the Van Gaal era, still one player from the Moyes era, and still a few players even from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But like I've said to you, I don't think anyone at Manchester United or anybody in general is going to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy. You know, it's going to be very, very hard to do because the vast majority of our success came under Ferguson. Because under Ferguson won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles. We've been inconsistent for the last 7 years, and we was even inconsistent before Ferguson came in. You know, we weren't good under Ron Atkinson. We weren't good under Wolf McGuinness. You know, we weren't good under Franco Farrell. We got relegated under Franco Farrell in 1974, don't forget. So, there you go. Another good thing about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he has won 50 games now as Manchester United manager, and he's become the third fastest Manchester United manager to do this. And Solskjaer has managed around 92 games now at the football club. You know, I think Solskjaer's just got under 2 years left on his current contract at Manchester United. If we're to do well this season, then we could possibly extend it. You know, but if we do bad, like I say, you know, the pressure will mount up even more on him. You know. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.